Welcome back, guys, to the Andrei podcast. Reality check. Let me start it off as easy as this. I ain't gonna lie, man. I kind of miss Cristiano Ronaldo, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I know I hate on him a lot. I know I fucking bash him a lot on my podcast. But I actually miss the motherfucker. I actually miss him. And the reason why I'm saying this is because recently, this past Sunday, we had the El Clasico. Barca destroyed Real Madrid. We had the Clasico, and I was watching with my friends, with Jacob and Simon. I've been in Montreal. I was in Montreal watching the game. And whilst I was watching the game, I'm like, I miss Ronaldo. Of course, I miss Messi. I mean, I don't even have to say it. I don't even have to express it. Like, of course, I fucking miss Messi. But I mean, I also miss Ronaldo, man. I also miss that Real Madrid team that I hated so much on. But I was like, man, looking at these players, like, yes, you know, there's Lamine Yamal and fucking Rafinha, Mbappe, Bellingham, all these players. But I'm like, it's not like the Barca and Real we used to know, man. And while I was watching, I'm like, you know what? As much as I can hate on Ronaldo, I actually fucking miss him. I miss him on the big stage. I miss his hunger. I just miss him, man. And I miss the football that I used to watch while I was growing up. From 2008 to 2022. I miss that football with Ronaldo, with Messi, with Neymar, with Bale, with Benzema, Ramos, Modric, Iniesta, Cruz, Rakitic, Busquets, Xavi. All those players, man, I fucking miss them. And I fucking miss Ronaldo. You know when you hate, maybe I actually love Ronaldo. Or maybe I fucking love him. Because you know when you hate so much on a guy, on a player, maybe it's because deep down you actually fucking love and respect him. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. But recently, I talked with my friends. I told this to my friends. I'm like, you know what? I actually miss Ronaldo. The impact he had on the game, his image, his influence, his work ethic, the soccer player that he is. I actually miss him. Maybe I even fucking love him. And maybe through all this hate and through all this banter and slander that I put on his name, maybe I'm actually his biggest fan. Like, actually, maybe, if we're being honest, I am maybe the biggest CR7 fan to ever exist. If we're being honest. Let's not lie. I brought a lot of visibility to Ronaldo fanboys because of my hatred towards Ronaldo. But all that hatred can be turned into goodness. I don't know actually what I'm talking about right now. I don't know if it really makes sense. But I just wanted to say that I actually miss Ronaldo. Yes, I hate on him all I want. I can hate on him all I want. He remains a top fucking G. He remains one of the greatest players to ever exist. As a man, as a professional soccer player, I cannot not respect him. Everything he's accomplished, everything he done for the game, everything he's accomplished with his team and individually, he's a fucking top G and he's one of the greatest players of all fucking time. You know, you don't realize how good you have it until you lose it. I feel like that was the case with me and Ronaldo. Maybe I felt like I hated him, but actually I didn't. No, actually, let me be serious. Like, of course, now I've been joking a little bit, but let me be serious. I don't hate Ronaldo. I never hated Ronaldo. Of course, in the social media game, there is something called rage bait, which is something that I do a lot. And I saw that fucking rage baiting with Ronaldo fucking gets views. So of course I was going to do it. I'm not fucking dumb. I'm going to be smart. And I don't really care about hate comments or just hate in general. It doesn't really affect me. So of course I was going to rage bait people with these Ronaldo claims. But let me be honest what I think about Ronaldo and how I see it regarding Ronaldo and regarding Ronaldo and Messi. When it comes to purely football, the sport of football, soccer, Messi is a million times better than Ronaldo. That is a fact, and that I will stand by it until I die because it is a fucking fact. When it comes to football, when it comes to how you play on the pitch, when it comes to how good you are as a football player, Messi is miles above Cristiano Ronaldo. That is a fact. I've always said it, and I'll always say it because that is a fact. But if someone asked me, Andrei, would you like to wake up tomorrow as Messi or as Ronaldo? I would choose Ronaldo. Why? Because altogether, I, being who I am and having the interests that I have, I would prefer to have the life that CR7 has or had if I go more in the past, then Lionel Messi. Why? Because Messi, of course, he's introverted. He's more shy. He's not flamboyant. He's less famous, let's say, than Ronaldo. He's less good looking. All of these things that I would like to be. That's why I would choose Cristiano Ronaldo over Lionel Messi. For which life would you rather have? Now, if someone was to ask me on the pitch, who would you rather play, like Messi or Ronaldo? How is that even a fucking answer? Everyone would choose Messi. The way Messi plays on the pitch is fucking perfect. It's pure magic. It's perfect. It's as beautiful as having sex. It's fucking phenomenal. It's just perfect how Messi plays on the pitch. It's just perfect. It's picturesque. It's Leonardo da Vinci. It's Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel. It's fucking perfect. You know what I mean? But if someone was to ask me which life would you rather have, everything put together, I would choose CR7 over Lionel Messi any day of the week, because altogether, I would rather be CR7 than be Lionel Messi. And if I might add, CR7, when it comes to accomplishing your dreams, when it comes to becoming the best version of yourself, when it comes to being resilient, when it comes to working hard, being disciplined, and all of these things that are considered beautiful attributes and good attributes for a man to have, he has all of them. Maybe sometimes he has a bit of jealousy and envy inside of him when it comes to football regarding Messi. I feel like he does, because he always feels the need to say that he's better than Messi and do podcasts and whatever. But so that is something that, I mean, no one is perfect, right? No human being is perfect. So that is one thing that he has that I wouldn't like to have on his part. But altogether, as a human being, as a man, as a competent individual, he's top G, he's fucking top of the echelon. I mean, that's fucking Cristiano Ronaldo, right? Most famous guy on earth, most Instagram followers, one of the greatest players of all time, one of the most accomplished athletes of all time, one of the greatest athletes of all time, highly successful, highly rich, and just accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish in his life. And he became truly the best version of himself through hard work, crazy discipline, and having a crazy mentality. So those are my real thoughts on Cristiano Ronaldo. So how can you say that those thoughts are not fair and unbiased? Because let's be fair, I cannot simply suck Ronaldo's dick and simply suck it for every aspect because I love Ronaldo. Same goes for Messi. I cannot just suck Messi's dick because, I'm a Messi fanboy, so everything Messi does is perfect and he's a perfect individual. That's not the case. No one is perfect. Yeah, I can clearly see who's better and what I would rather have from both of them, right? So, of course, when it comes to footballing abilities, how you play on the pitch, how could you say that you would rather be a player like Ronaldo and not like Messi? Messi, Jesus Christ, he takes the fucking ball, dribbles past 5 or 6 players and chips the fucking goalkeeper. Ronaldo could never in a million years do that. Not only Ronaldo, but no one else except Maradona and Ronaldinho could do that. So I mean, like, how could you say, I understand you're a Ronaldo fanboy. I understand you fucking love Ronaldo, and I understand he's your biggest idol. But how can you say logically and unbiasedly that you would rather play like Ronaldo than Messi? How can you logically say and rationally say that Ronaldo is a better football player than Lionel Messi? How? It's not even fucking possible. Now, someone can say Ronaldo is better looking. Yes, yeah, fair, he is. Ronaldo has more money. Yeah, maybe he does. I don't know. I didn't really check their net worth. And if you go on fucking Google, it's never correct. Someone could say Ronaldo is more accomplished. Yeah, maybe then it's up for debate. But something as simple as who's a better player, there's actually no debate there. How could you even think for a second in your mind, how could you watch Ronaldo play, watch Messi play, and then say, you know what? Ronaldo plays better than Messi. Do you know how fucked up that is? I understand you're a Ronaldo fanboy, but say it how it is. I'm a Messi fanboy, but I still have the guts. I still have the rationality and the logical mind to say that, yes, on the pitch, Messi is a million times a better player than Ronaldo. But another question, which would be more in Ronaldo's favor, which life would you rather have from both of them? I would rather have Cristiano Ronaldo's life. I'm being unbiased. I'm just being fair. He's better in football. Altogether, me personally, I feel like Ronaldo altogether has a more accomplished life. Maybe not more accomplished because Messi, I mean, just, how can I say this? He's not more accomplished necessarily, Ronaldo, but it's just the lifestyle Ronaldo has is more lavish and is more flamboyant, and is something that I would like to have. So that's why I would choose more his life than, let's say, Messi, who is more introverted, shy, and not flamboyant, and all of these other things that I would like to have. So that's why I would choose CR7. So it's all a question of being fair, being unbiased, and just, of course, personal opinion. Some people would say that they would rather have Messi's life than Ronaldo. But at the end of the day, we all know what it is. Even if we have more love towards us, a particular player, we can still say it how it is, be rational, logical, and unbiased. Okay, so guys, recently, Serie D, which is the fourth league in Italy. There's Serie A, Serie B, Serie C, and then Serie D. There's a new team. Athletic Club Palermo just got not regulated. They just got promoted to Serie D. Athletic Club Palermo just got promoted to Serie D. And their top partnership is Escort Advisors. That is their top sponsorship. Escort Advisors. As the name says it, it's a site for escorts. And to congratulate them on them getting promoted to Serie D, on them going from amateur football to professional football, Escort Advisors, their main promotion, their main partnership, they gave them all of their players lifetime subscriptions. Athletic Club Palermo, right now I'm talking to your managers, I'm talking to the president, I'm talking to anyone who has the power to offer me a contract. If you guys need a midfielder, I'm really fucking good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a really good fucking midfielder. I will fly all the way to Italy. I will fly all the way to Palermo. Give me a contract. I don't even have to be starting 11. Don't worry about it. You want me to clean your boots? Don't worry about it. You want me to be on the bench? I'll do it happily. I'll do it gladly. I'll do it. Get me a contract. I'll be the worst player. I'll be the water boy if I have to. I'll be the water boy. Actually, I'll be your guy's water boy. If it means that even the water boy got a lifetime subscription to escorts from Escorts Advisors. If that's the case, tell me when. I'll drop everything I have here in Canada. I'll fly all the way to Italy, to Palermo, and I'll be your guys' water boy. If it means that me, since I am now an employee of Athletic Club Palermo, if that means that I get a lifetime subscription to escorts, because our main partnership, our main sponsor, Escort Advisors, they gave lifetime subscriptions to all of the players and all of the staff members. If that is the case, I will send you guys my CV. This is a official request for me to join your team, either as a player. Ideally, I'll be the water boy if I have to. Hell, I'll even be the janitor if I have to. I don't care. Get me a contract on the team. Get me a contract. I'll work for minimum wage. It's okay. I have a lifetime subscription of escorts to Escorts Advisors. I'll be more than happy. Please, if that's the case, just tell me when, tell me how. I'll be there, and don't worry about nothing. I'll clean your shoes. I'll clean your fucking cleats. Your water will be nice and cold every single game. I am the perfect employee. And I feel like it's actually, you know what? Don't even pay me. Just give me the lifetime subscription. That is all I need. Don't even pay me. If it's unlimited and it's a lifetime subscription like they say it is, I will do free work for you guys. Just make me be one of your players so that I can get that free lifetime subscription to Escort Advisors. Tell me when, how, and where, and I'll be there. Talking about exchanging one service for another, let me make another proposition. The 2026 World Cup is coming up. Jesus Christ, let me restart this. The 2026 World Cup final is coming up. The final is July 18th. Tickets for the final of the 2026 World Cup, they go from $10,000 to $2 million. But like the cheapest ticket is like fucking Let's say it's 10,000 just to be fair. I'm pretty sure it's even more. I would like to make a proposition. I am 25 years old. I will be 26 at the time that the World Cup final will be played. I do not have that type of money to pay myself a World Cup final ticket. I don't. But some of you ladies do. Now listen to me. Let me put myself beautiful. Some of you ladies have that type of money. But some of you ladies who do have that type of money, you don't have the type of sexual life that you guys wish you had. So let me make a proposition. Let me offer you guys something in exchange for a World Cup ticket. How can I say this legally without getting fucking bashed on? You guys get all the women out there who have the type of money to pay me a World Cup final ticket. To all of you ladies who do have that type of money, I would like to offer an exchange of services. You get me for a weekend. You know what that means. You get me for a weekend. I'm 25. I'm in good shape. I'm tall. I'm 6'2". I have a six-pack. I'm in good shape. I'm kind of good looking, right? You get me in exchange for a weekend. You get me for a full weekend. Fuck it. You get me for a full week. For a full week, I am your boy toy. That is who I am. For a full week, I am your boy toy. I don't give a fuck. You can do whatever you want. Not some gay shit, but you can do whatever you want as long as it's straight. I am your boy toy for a week. And the only thing that I want in exchange is a World Cup final ticket. That is all I'm asking for. It can be up in the stands. It can be courtside, not courtside, pitch side. It could be way down so I can look at the players and get a fucking full experience. And I'm actually dead serious right now. Of course, my friends will laugh. They'll look at this. Oh my God, you're so fucking dumb. I'm actually dead fucking serious. Look at me in the eyes right now while I'm fucking saying this, okay? Ladies, if it's older, I don't care what age you ladies are. I don't care what your age is. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your political affiliations are. I don't care how good looking or how bad looking you are. I don't care what skin color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what fucking language you speak. You only need to have two things. You need to be a biological woman. You have to be a biological woman. I ain't doing no gay shit. You have to be a biological woman. And you need to have the type of money that you need to have to buy a World Cup final ticket. Like I said, you get me for a week. I will be your boy toy for a week. You give me in exchange one World Cup final ticket. I swear to God, I'm not fucking around right now. I need the World Cup final ticket. The World Cup is going to be in New York, New Jersey, more precisely. There's only one World Cup every 4 years. I'm 25 years old. I'm going to be 26. I know the next World Cup isn't going to be in North America for the next 100 years. So this is my only chance. Please, if you guys know someone, tag her in the comments. If you don't want to tag her, if you don't want to expose her, send this directly to her privately. I don't care, but I am being dead serious right now. You ladies plural or single, you get me for a week. I am your boy toy. In exchange, I get one World Cup final ticket. That seems like a pretty fair trade to me. I'm being dead serious right now. Again, like I said. And let me be even more fair. So if you get me for a week, there's different levels. So if you buy me a ticket of $10,000, then I won't do the same. I won't do as much work in the sheets as I will for someone who will buy me a ticket that is like that costs, let's say, $30,000, right? So we're going to go proportionally for the amount of ticket, the amount it worth, the amount that it is worth, the amount that it costs. That is what you're getting in exchange, right? That's how it fucking works, right? So, like I said, I need a World Cup ticket. We'll talk about, I was being more precisely right now in the logistics. We'll talk more about the logistics later on. But if you want this kind of trade, you get me for a week as a boy toy. I get one World Cup final ticket. DM me personally. I don't care. You're going to be anonymous. No one's going to know who you are. But that is a trade that I am willing to do. You guys know what I mean by when I say that I will be your boy toy. And let's be honest, there are some probably old women who are lacking something in their lives personally that I can and will gladly give it to them for a World Cup final ticket. That sounds like a fair trade to me. I'm going to clip it. I'm going to post it because I need a fucking World Cup final ticket. I don't give a fuck. I fucking need it. So yeah, let's see what happens. I'm pretty sure, knock on wood, let me find the woman of my dreams. Talking about everything I just talked about, there's always one question I asked myself, and I feel like everyone in society asks themselves, should prostitution be illegal or should it be legal? In my opinion, I feel like prostitution should be legal. Why? I mean, first of all, if you make it legal, you're gonna cut off all the pimps. There isn't gonna be any pimps. And if I'm being honest, I mean, if a person wants to sell her body or his body for money, and another person is willing to give money in order to have sexual pleasure from that person, why not? It's two consenting as adults. As long as it's two consenting adults, I don't see what the problem is. I actually don't see what the problem is. And that's why there's many countries in the world where prostitution is legal. Is for that specific reason. Is because it's literally two consenting adults, one giving money to the other person for sex, and then he or she leaves, and then that's it. I mean, what's the difference between that and, let's say I go on Tinder, I meet a girl who specific and she says that she wants to have only a one night and she only wants to have fun. But before that, we go on a date, I pay for her food, and then we go home, and she was specific that she wanted a one night stand and it was only for fun. And then we have fun and then she leaves. What's the difference between that and between me literally just skipping the dinner part, giving her the fucking money, sleeping with her, and then leaving? What's the difference? Let's not think about it emotionally. Let's not think about it, yeah, but you don't build anything emotional. Let's think about it purely logical. I meet a girl on Tinder. She tells me word for word via messages, I don't want nothing serious. I only want a one night stand. But before that, so we get to know each other a little bit, let's go on a dinner date. Sure, I accept. We go on the dinner date. We talk to each other. We ask each other questions. We get to know each other. I pay the bill. I take her home. I have sex with her. She goes home. I go home. We never see each other again. We never text each other again. What's the difference between that and me texting a prostitute? Hey, what's your rate? She says $200. I go there. I pay $200. I have sex with her. I go home. Never to see her again. She'll never see me again. What's the difference between those two scenarios? Literally nothing. But one is legal and the other one is illegal. What's the difference? In both cases, I'm paying money. And in both cases, we're all consenting adults. In both cases, we are all consenting adults. So what is the difference? And even by making prostitution legal, also what you do is you can tax it. I don't know how, but you can tax it. And second of all, there's no pimps, so no one gets hurt, no one gets scammed, no one gets robbed, and no one gets killed. And also no one gets human trafficked. No one gets trafficked humanly. So it's a win-win situation. There's only pros and there's no cons to making prostitution legal. And that is why there's so many countries, especially in Europe, where prostitution actually is legal, like Amsterdam, right? When I went to Amsterdam with Luca, for people who don't know, there is a district called Red Light District, which is basically like one big street and then multiple small streets on the side. And it's filled with literally, if you don't believe me, Google it, doors with windows, and it's literally girls standing there in bikinis and just waiting for guys to knock on the door and say, yeah, how much? And then they go and have sexual relations. It's literally what it is. It's like a Toys R Us for sex. There's girls, you can see them, can look at them, and there's many doors. It's not like, oh, there's one door there and then another there. It's like one door after the other for like kilometers. For kilometers, one door after the other, and it's prostitutes. They stand there by the door, waiting for clientele and waiting to make money. It's completely legal, and I feel like there's nothing wrong there. I mean, now there is maybe a ethical question to it, maybe a question of self-worth. That is a different question, but the question of legality, there's nothing wrong there. If we're talking about self-worth, it goes the same for someone who's allowed to eat whatever he wants, whenever he wants, and he gets fat, and then he gets obese. What about the question of self-worth there? Should we make McDonald's illegal for that person who's obese because her self-worth or his self-worth isn't getting met? The conditions aren't getting met. Same goes for prostitution. Maybe there's a question of self-worth. Maybe not everyone sees it the same. But when it comes to purely logical, and when it comes to purely like questions of legality, it should be legal, and there's nothing wrong there. By making it illegal, you can tax it. Everyone is safe. You guys use protection. I mean, even that is up for you guys. If I want to have sex with a one-night stand and I don't want to use a condom and she lets me not use a condom and then we both end up getting an STI, the government isn't to blame. I cannot blame the government. I cannot bring the government to court. We are to blame, and we both have to deal with the consequences of our actions. So what's the difference between that and between prostitution if they don't want to use a condom? If they want to use it, good for them. If they don't want, that's their fucking choice. But at the end of the day, it's purely logical. It's as long as it's two consenting adults, there's nothing wrong there. And that's how I see it. And what is the difference between that and, let's say, rappers or just celebrities who are really fucking rich, and then they find these girls who they don't want to marry, they don't want to have long-term relationships with, and they pay for their trip, they pay for their clothes, they pay for their food, they pay their rent or whatever. And it's understood silently that in exchange, the famous guy or the famous woman, but it's mostly guys who do it, the famous guy gets sex in exchange. What's the difference? He's not going to marry them. He's not looking to marry them. They aren't looking to marry him. They're looking to get money out of him for a purse, for a lavish lifestyle, for a traveling lifestyle, for whatever kind of lifestyle it may be. In a way, it is prostitution. You're exchanging money in a way, in a shape and form. It can be through clothes. It can be through dinner dates. It can be through travels, through traveling, through trips. It can be through clothes, whatever it can be through. But it's understood that in exchange, the guy gets sex. Whoever the celebrity might be. Now I'm thinking about rappers. Even let's say Dan Bilzerian, right? When he brings 20 girls on a yacht, he doesn't literally pay them for sex, but he pays for their airplane trip. He pays for their yacht stay. He pays for their food, their clothes, maybe even jewelries, whatever, gifts here and there, whatever else. But in exchange, what he wants is to be able to have sex with them whenever he wants. And in a way, they both know it. Maybe they don't talk about it vocally, but it's understood deep down that that is the exchange that they are making. So I don't know what's the difference between that, what Dan Bilzerian does or a rapper does, and a guy who literally texts a prostitute, hey, I'm coming, how much? There you go, boom, boom, boom. They do their thing and he leaves. What's the difference? I don't know. Okay, let's talk about something more philosophical right now. There is a huge difference between confidence and arrogance. Huge difference. Confidence is silent. Arrogance is loud. If you want to know if someone is confident, just look at their actions. Someone who is truly confident and not arrogant, they don't feel the need to tell it to people and to say it to people. What they do is they know they're confident, they are confident, and you can see it through their actions. They're not talking about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, blah, blah, blah. You literally see them doing it. That is a confident person. A person who is arrogant and not confident is a person who constantly talks about how great they are, how perfect they are, and how they'll do big things, how they will do this and that, but you never see them do it with their actions. That is the main difference. Someone who is confident, first of all, doesn't feel the need to say it because deep down he or she knows that they are confident, so they don't feel the need to say it. And when you look at their actions, they do everything that they want to do because they are confident. They do things that takes balls to do because they are confident. People who are arrogant, they aren't confident because deep down, the reason they are arrogant and the reason why they feel the need to always talk about themselves and praise themselves and talk about how great they are, how beautiful they are, how amazing they are, is because deep down, they're insecure. And since deep down they're insecure, they get a relief. They feel good when they start talking about themselves to others, about how good they are, how perfect and how beautiful they are. But when it comes to actions, they don't have the actions They don't do the actions and they don't take the necessary steps of someone who is confident and of someone who is truly confident. They just talk, but their walk isn't good. It's a lot of talk and no walking. Someone who is confident is a lot of walking and no talking. And that is the difference between someone who is confident and someone who is simply arrogant. Huge difference, and it's two completely different things. And you cannot be arrogant and confident, and you cannot be confident and arrogant. Because if you're confident, you don't feel the need to talk about yourself. You're actually lazy. You don't even have the energy to talk about yourself because you're putting all your energy in things that actually matter and accomplishing your dreams and hitting your targets. And you don't have to say it, and you don't feel like you don't feel the need to tell it to other people, because deep down you know who you are and you know your worth and you are confident in your own skin. Someone who is arrogant is because deep down they're insecure of who they are and they're insecure of what they are preaching about themselves. They can talk about it all they want. Deep down they're insecure. That is a fucking fact. That is the main difference between someone who is confident and someone who is arrogant. Let's say there's two guys, right? Both of them, one guy never talks about how he's good at picking up girls, and the other guy is constantly talking about, yo, I'm the best at picking girls, I'm the best at getting girls, whatever. Person one, he never talks about it, but if you look at his actions, he's always the first one to approach women. He has the balls to approach women, and he's constantly approaching women. So, in translation, he's a highly confident person when it comes to approaching women, which then means there's a high chance of him getting a lot of women. Person B, who's very arrogant and constantly talks about how they have a lot of balls of approaching women and they don't fear approaching women and they get a lot of girls, but you never see them approach women, right? You don't never see them get girls. I mean, like, make it make sense. Like, you know what I mean? Person number one is simply someone who is confident, and person number two is simply someone who is arrogant. Someone who is constantly talking about doing great things, but if you look at their life, if you look at their actions, they're never doing those things. Are they actually confident, or are they just arrogant? Someone who never talks about doing great things and doing big things, but when you look at their actions, they're constantly doing big things, accomplishing great things. They're simply someone who is confident and not someone who is arrogant. And in my opinion, the best way to become confident in your own skin and to become confident in who you are is by doing things that scare you, and is by facing your fears and by being disciplined. By facing your fears and by being disciplined, you become more competent, and there's more of you, and you become more and more a leveled up and a more competent individual. And through competency, you get confidence. The more competent you become through facing your fears, through accomplishing your goals, and through defeating your demons, and through how can I say this? Overcoming adversity, the more you'll become competent. And by becoming more competent, the more you'll become confident, because you will get the sense of, I accomplished this in the past. I faced this fear in the past. I did this, I did that. I accomplished this, I accomplished that. Slowly, you're becoming more and more confident. By becoming slowly more competent, you're also becoming slowly more confident in your abilities and in your competency. That is how you become more confident, in my opinion. And if I'm being honest, there's a reason why we've always admired, humans throughout history have always admired competent people and brave people the most. Why? It's because we know what it takes to be brave, and we know what it takes to be competent. And that is why we respect people who are competent and confident and who are brave. Because all three of those go together, and we know how hard it is to be competent, to be confident, and to be brave especially. We all know how hard it is because we all have fears, and we know how hard it is to face our fears. And that is why we respect people who have the confidence to go out there and try to face their fears, who face their fears and who try to overcome their fears, because we know how fucking hard it is and how it's not an easy road. So that's why we humans respect those other humans who are doing that a lot. That is why we respect them the most, because we know deep down Every single human being knows how hard it is to face your own fears, to become confident, to become competent, and to become even braver step by step. Like I said, real authentic confidence, real confidence, not arrogance, but real confidence comes only and solely from actions. From actions. The more actions you do, the more fears you face, the more hardworking you become, the more competent you become, the more educated you become, the more you push yourself to become a better person, to become more competent, the more you face your fears, and then you become more brave and even more competent because you acquire new skills, the more confident you'll be as an individual. And then it's like, it's exponential. You're just going to become more and more competent, more and more confident, more and more brave, and then more and more confident, like I said. So it's exponential, and it's only through actions, through facing fears, and through doing things that we can become more and more confident. And by becoming more and more confident, you become less and less arrogant, because deep down you become less and less insecure, because you know your worth and you know who you are, and you have many previous actions and many previous events where you can back up your confidence, your inner confidence, and your inner competency, because you know in the past you've accomplished great things and you did great things and you faced your biggest fears. So you become proud of yourself because of how confident you've became. And that is why I feel like humans, every single human being needs a purpose. Not the same purpose. We can all have different purpose, and your purpose doesn't have this necessarily to be making millions of dollars, becoming highly famous, and everything that is considered as materialism. It doesn't have to be. But we all need purpose, because through purpose, when you have a purpose, that is also when you have a journey. Because in order to accomplish and to reach your purpose, there has to be a journey to you accomplishing and reaching your purpose, right? That is a fact. And when you have a purpose and when you have a journey, that is what makes life special. Because at the end of the road, we're going to die. Every single human being dies. So the point of life is the journey. That is what matters. Not the outcome, not the results, but the journey is what gives hope in our lives, is what brings hope. It's what brings happiness in our lives, and is what makes life fucking exciting and worth living, is when we have a journey, because we have this purpose that we're going towards. We have this goal that we're aiming for. And then in order to accomplish that dream, in order to accomplish that goal and reach that purpose, which is your final and ultimate destiny, there is a journey that has to be followed, that you have to walk. There is a journey that you have to walk through. It can be really hard. There's going to be ups and downs, but at the end of the day, you're going to be so proud of yourself. And that is the point of life, is to have a passion, is to have a purpose. And then that then translates to you having a journey towards that purpose. And that is exactly what makes life exciting, what makes life beautiful. That is what will make you have trouble going to sleep at night, because you can't wait to wake up the following morning. And every single morning when you'll wake up, you'll be happy to wake up, because you can't wait to continue on your journey to your purpose. That is the point of life, in my humble opinion. One question I've always asked myself, and one question we've always asked ourselves in sociology, since I've just got a degree in sociology, and it's a question of, are humans naturally selfish? Before I answer this question, let me drink some water. So, are humans naturally selfish? I feel like naturally all human beings are selfish, but at the same time, we all have a heart, and we all have the capacity to be compassionate and to be able to put ourselves in other people's shoes and other people's places. I feel like we all have that capacity, and we all have that skill, let's say. We're all compassionate. That is how I see it. But at the same time, something I've realized is some humans, for every single human being, there are certain situations and certain circumstances where we don't even realize that we're being selfish, because we're in a position of stress or of fear where we feel the need to think more about ourselves, and we forget to think about others, because we have this fear that is causing us to be selfish unconsciously. Let me give you an example. There's this client that I met recently, and I sold them an F-150. a husband and a wife. I showed them the car and I showed them the payments. Like it or not, as a buyer, you're always looking to minimize the payments because at the end of the day, it's money coming out of your pockets. We were at $600 bi-weekly. Let's say 600 monthly, just so it's a round number and it's easier to calculate. We were at $600 monthly. Perfect, we got the deal. And she was conscious that we kept $3,000 of profit so that I can get a good commission and that a dealer can make some money. So they get a good deal, they get a new car, I get a good commission, and the dealer makes some money because at the end of the day, a dealership, it's not a non-profit organization. It's not CHIO. They are a capitalistic business and they are looking to make money. That is what a business is. So she was conscious of that and she was really kind, really kind client. And she understood, okay, Andrei, I really like him. I really had a good time with him. I really respect him. I want him to make money. So of course, let's keep the profit at 3,000 so he can get a good commission. The business, I understand, they have to make money to keep the lights on, to pay their staff, to pay everything else. So let them make some money. And let me also get a good deal because it is at the end of the day, I am paying that $600 monthly. So of course, let me get also a good deal and I'll get a brand new truck. So winner, winner, winner. We all win. But then what happened is the stress kicked in inside of her mind and the fear kicked in of, is $600 maybe too much? And then she started overthinking. And then she got a quote from another dealership, another Ford dealership who also sells F-150s. And she got a quote of $550 instead of $600 for the same fucking truck, the same truck. But since that other dealership wants to get her as a client, the most logical way and the best way to get someone as a client is to get better payments than the other place. So of course, logically, that client will go to your place. And then once she got that call from that other place and then she can get $550 and then in her mind, she's saving $50 a month. And then with all the fear that kicked in of financial fear, economic fear, will I have enough to pay that monthly? Everything else that is considered compassion that she had at the beginning of, I want Andrei to get a good commission. I want the dealership to make some money, to make some profit. It all went out the window, not because she wanted to, but simply because her fear blinded her from being able to be compassionate towards me and the dealership. Because later on, she called us. She said, you know what? I think I'm going to have to cancel with you guys because this other dealership is giving it to me at $550 and fuck, it's $50 less. So of course, we want to keep the client. We don't have the chance. We had to cut all of our profit and to get it down to $550 so she stays with us. She was really fucking happy. And like I said, she's a really beautiful and really good client. And she really liked me and she really liked our dealership. So she signed with us. We were able to keep her. And she was always texting me, oh my God, Andrei, I'm so fucking happy. Thank you so much. You're such a good person. She wrote a really beautiful Google review. She was really nice, really kind. But at the end of the day, I didn't make a good commission as much as I could have if we would have kept the $3,000 commission. The dealership made less money also. She won more at the end than any one of us. I got a flat rate, which is ass, if I'm being honest. If we would have kept the $3,000 profit, and I'm not sure if it's $3,000, I'm just speaking roughly right now. If we would have kept the $3,000 profit, my commission would have been way better and the dealership would have made way more money. And she was still getting a really good deal because we already cut like the profit from 50%, maybe even 60%. So it was winner. But since fear kicked in, she forgot about my commission. I'm not blaming her. I'm not saying that what she did was wrong, but she forgot about it. She forgot about my commission and she forgot about the dealership making money because it is a business and the business has to pay certain bills to keep the lights on. She forgot about all of that and she started thinking only about herself and her pockets, and that can be seen as selfish. But is she truly a selfish person? She's really nice. Like, I'm being honest, I know her and I know exactly what type of person she is. She's a really nice and compassionate person. She even invited me for dinner. She went on constantly saying about how she wants to adopt me as a son because she's like, oh my God, your mom did such a good job with you. You're so cute. You're such a good person. Like, she was really nice. But like her or not, at the end of the day, her actions in a way were selfish. I lost my commission. The dealership is making less money and less profit. because she wanted to get more money from her side and she wanted to pay less monthly. But she didn't do it out of hate and out of spite. And she didn't do it because she hates me or because she hates the dealership. And she's like, fuck Andrei, fuck his commission, fuck the dealership, fuck their profit. I'm only thinking about myself. She was really, really a nice and compassionate person. But when fear kicked in, she completely forgot about it, and she became selfish. So yes, there are some people who are naturally selfish and who don't give a fuck about other people. Those people do exist. I'm not saying that they don't exist. And there are also people who are a bit too nice, and since they're too nice, they become naive and they let people walk all over them. That is also not good. The goal, of course, is to be assertive, to be a good person who is assertive, to be in the middle. But there are also people who are assertive, who are really good, who are really compassionate, who are really smart. But when fear kicks in, they forget about being compassionate, and they only start thinking about themselves, and they don't even realize that they're only thinking about themselves and their pockets and their well-being. They don't even realize it. So can you call those people selfish? Yes, no, both are correct. But it's just how it is, man. I feel like that type of situation and that type of circumstance happens many times in life. Very, very good people and very, very kind people who just don't even realize when they're being selfish. And then if you were to ask them, if someone was to ask that lady just randomly in life, do you consider yourself to be a selfish person? Of course she would say no. And she would have every right to say no because she's a really compassionate and really nice person. But if someone was to sit her down, if God was to sit her down and show her every single action she did in life, maybe she would change her answer and say, oh shit, maybe I am a selfish person. But deep down in her heart, she has the sweetest heart and she's the best person. But when fear kicks in, it can push people to be selfish, people who don't even consider themselves to be selfish, and people who don't even intend to be selfish. Fear kicks in, they get blinded, and they become selfish. So I feel like that plays a big part. This made me realize that fear can play a big part in people being selfish or not being selfish. But that is something that I wanted to share with you guys on my podcast, because I feel like that is something that I feel like I didn't really saw a lot of people talking about it, but I feel like it is a truth of life, and that it happens in more situations than we actually think about or phantom about. And I feel like having high knowledge and having high education will make you more conscientious of your surroundings and how your decisions can impact your surroundings. So of course, some people are more conscientious than other people. Some people, you cannot blame them. They're just born like that, aren't as conscientious as other people. Some people are born really conscientious, and they know the outcome that their actions have on society and on other people. Every single action that they do, they're aware of the outcome that it has on other people and on people on their surroundings and in the society that they inhabit. Some people are less conscientious. So even if some people who are less conscientious, even if they are really, really sweet and really, really compassionate and they have a really, really good heart, since they're not as conscientious as other people, they don't even realize when they're being selfish and when they're actually not being fair, because they just can't even realize it. It's not out of hate. It's not out of hatred. It's not because they want to be selfish and they don't give a fuck about the rest. It's just they don't have the consciousness. They don't have the, how can I say this? They don't have the development, the level of conscientious as these other people, the level of consciousness as these other people. So that is why they don't realize when they're actually being selfish. Discipline equals freedom. Let me explain why I fucking love this quote. When you're disciplined, you're going to be free. You're going to have freedom in every single aspect of your life. If you're disciplined in the gym, if you're disciplined with fitness and with nutrition, you'll have the freedom of having health for a very, very long period of your life. You'll have health. You'll have the freedom of being healthy. You'll have the freedom of not laying in a hospital bed for months and even years, because you're going to have that freedom. If you're disciplined with working, making money, going to work, whatever, you'll have financial freedom. Of course, as long as you live amongst your means, you live by your means, you'll have financial freedom by being disciplined. If you have discipline for anything, you'll have the freedom that it comes with. So that is why Jocko Willink talks about it a lot, and everyone talks about it a lot, is if you want to have freedom, financial freedom, health freedom, whatever other freedom exists, it comes through discipline. And that is why discipline is really fucking important, is because discipline is doing things that have to get done, not simply when you feel like it, but when it has to get done. The things that have to get done, you do it when they have to get done. And that is what discipline is. It's really fucking hard because discipline isn't like motivation. Motivation is doing something when you feel like it. Oh, I feel like going to the gym. I'm really fucking motivated. Okay, I'll go to the gym. That's easy, quote unquote. You still went to the gym. It's still really good. You're still going to be healthy and everything else. But discipline is still going to the gym because you have to go to the gym. That is what discipline is. Even if you don't feel like it, you still go, not because you feel like it, but simply because you have to do it, because that is what discipline is. Discipline is doing something that has to get done at the time that it has to get done, regardless of how you feel. Okay, so recently, I saw a lot of people talking about how our phones and how social media and how technology is having a big impact on everyone's life. And I agree. If you look at everyone's screen time, it's really fucking crazy. Of course, some people have like a screen time of 1 hour, then they never go on their phones and don't give a fuck. But if you look at younger people, younger generations, our screen time is fucking crazy. And if you think about it, everyone is constantly on their phone. So what will that look like, right? If I look at my personal screen time, it's like 4 or 5 hours. If I'm being fair, I do post a lot of clips. I do go a lot on social media to look for topics to talk about on my podcast. So there is that. So that is why it looks like more. And also, I sell cars. So a lot of texting with my clients, a lot of calling my clients, sending emails. There's also a lot of that. But I'm not going to lie. If I do have an addiction, it's my phone. I am aware of it. I am conscious about it. I do have an addiction to my phone. I'm a lot on it. I'm a lot fucking on it. Some people are less. But I saw this on the podcast of Joe Rogan with Chris Williamson. They talked about, do you think that one day people will spend more time on their phones than in real life? Or just, let's say, with virtual reality, with it getting better and better and feeling more like real life. And we all know that technological advancements are exponential. We're all aware of technological advancements being exponential. So maybe one day technology will be fucking crazy, and AI, virtual reality, our phones, everything that englobes and encompasses technology, maybe one day it will be really fucking crazily developed. Even though today it's really fucking crazily developed, maybe in like 100 years from now, who knows what it will look like. But to answer the question of, will we spend more time in virtual reality than in real life? I feel like the answer will always be no for the vast majority. Of course, some people, some cases here and there where it will be like a mental problem because they will spend more of their time on virtual reality than in real life. But I feel like at the end of the day, we remain human beings. We're not robots. And we do have this thing to us, to humans, where we like things that are true, that are real, and that are natural and authentic because we remain human beings. That is what I think. And that is actually what I fucking hope. I cross my fingers because I hope that we remain human beings. I hope that we use AI to our advantages, that we use AI to serve us and not to control us and to fuck up our lives, just as much as our phones, just as much as virtual reality. There's nothing wrong with, let's say, playing video games for 1 hour or 2 hours a day with virtual reality. Of course, it's fun. But the problem is if you sleep 8 hours, the next 16 hours, you're constantly in your virtual reality because you feel better in that place. And that's a fucking mental problem, because how can you be a human being, be natural and have this natural aspect to you, this social aspect of you of wanting to have relationships with real human beings and then spend 16 hours in virtual reality? So I feel like I said, in general, the answer is no. Human beings in general are always going to remain human beings. So we're always going to be natural. Look for social interactions with real, natural human beings. I feel like we'll always have that to us, and I hope we do. But for some specific cases, for a small minority, it will be the case that they will spend more time in virtual reality than in reality and natural reality, I guess we can call. And I hope that's the fucking case because, and I feel like if it does happen for that small minority, it's going to be considered like a new mental problem and they're going to seek help. And because we're going to know it's actually not good for our brains and for the human mind, because like I said, we remain human beings. We remain quote unquote animals. We remain natural. And we're always going to have that natural humane side to us because it is who we are and it is what it is. Il reste combien de temps? Il est quelle heure? Combien de temps, Jules? Ah, t'es pas là. Okay. So, next question. Is life all about money? You know what? In the beginning, I was more into it. Like, okay, life, money matters a lot. Money is really fucking important. But the older I grow, the more experiences I have and the wiser I become, the more I realize that money actually isn't that something big. As long as you can have money for comfort, for survival, for food, for this and that. Of course, money is a luxury. It's a comfort. But there's many other things that are way more important than having money. Relationships, having peace of mind, having a healthy lifestyle, having a healthy mind, and many other things that are way more important than money. And also family is also way more important than money and everything else. And I remember, and also before when I was younger, I always used to ask myself and tell myself that it's always better to live in a rich country than a poor country. Why? Well, I mean, it's a rich country, so of course it's better. It has way more money. So of course it's better. And then I remember when I went to Yugoslavia, to Serbia, to see my family members, to see my cousins and my grandmas, grandparents and everything, my cousins, aunts and uncles. And I remember when I was in the car with one of my cousins, and she asked me, would you like to live in Serbia? Would you rather live in Serbia or Canada? And then I immediately answered without hesitating. I'm like, of course, Canada. And she's like, oh, why? I'm like, well, it's way more rich. It has way more money. The GDP per capita is way higher. And she's like, yeah, but life isn't all about money. And she simply said that and nothing else. And then I started thinking to myself, I'm like, I think she's actually right. Because if you think about it, there are many pros that these poorer countries have than these richer countries, right? There are many pros. They have healthier lifestyles, mentally, and some of them even physically. If you look at the rates of obesity, it's mostly in rich countries and many other things. So even poorer countries have way more pros and cons. They have better relationships in general. They have a better sense of community and they have better relationships with their parents, with their wives and everything else, right? If you look at divorce rates, in the Western world, that is where divorce rates are the highest. It's in the Western world. So, I mean, it's not all pros living in a country just because of money and just because of GDP. So life isn't all about money. Living in a society, in a healthy society, isn't all about GDP. It's not all about economy. There's many other aspects that come into play in what we consider a healthy lifestyle, right? A healthy society also. If I think about it, there are some things that cannot be measured, that aren't quantitative, but are qualitative. If you think about it, the GDP in Canada and America is better than in Serbia. But from traveling to Serbia, from living months in Serbia, there are some things that are better in Serbia than in Canada or America. The nightlife is way better. The social life is way better. Having fun is way better over there. Having relationships with people, with making friends, making girlfriends is way better. People are way healthier mentally over there. And the way they live, the social aspect of it is a million times better than in North America. People are way more stressed out in North America than, let's say, in Serbia or even Italy. If you look at the lifestyle that Italians have, they have way more pleasure out of life and they have a way healthier lifestyle and a way better lifestyle than people in Canada and America. But the GDP per capita is lower and in general, they make less money, the people over there. But it's not all about money. They enjoy life better than we in North America. And that is a fucking fact. I'll always remember this quote from the movie Eat, Pray, Love with, what's her name? She's a really beautiful actress. She's known for her smile, Julia Roberts. I'll always remember this quote from the movie Eat, Pray, Love, starring Julia Roberts. She went to Italy, and this Italian guy told her, she said, "You Americans know all about entertainment, but nothing about pleasure." And that is a fucking fact. Americans, North Americans, we know everything there is to know about entertainment. We make the best movies. We make the best entertainment. But when it comes to la dolce vita, when it comes to enjoying life, when it comes to the simple pleasures of life, and when it comes to pleasures and having a pleasant life, Italians are miles ahead of us. Not only Italians, but many other countries, many other cultures, and many other societies where the GDP is lower than ours, where the economy is weaker than ours. They have a way better lifestyle and a way happier life than we in North America in general, of course. Okay, so guys, let me end it with a quote, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with Luka Delic. So this quote for this episode is, "You only get one life. Make sure it's a life worth remembering." Like I said so many times, of course, maybe there is something as resurrection. Maybe we do come back in a different life, in a different form. Who knows what happens once you die? But from what we know, we only have one life. You only live once. So you might as well make sure that you lived a life that was worth remembering. Because when you're going to be on your deathbed, the only thing that is going to matter are the moments, the experiences, the relationships you had, and how fulfilled you felt with your life on your journey to your full destiny. That was it for this episode. Peace out.